How's it going, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Zach and I'm an HVAC contractor in the Middle Tennessee area. Now today's video is going to be all about indoor air quality. Now there's three things you want to think about when it comes to HVAC. That's temperature regulation, humidity regulation, and also proper air filtration. So today we're going to be focusing on that number 3, air filtration. So this filter is going to be 4 inches wide and it's going to be a MERV 13, which can last up to 1 year depending on the application that you're in, but typically it's 1 year. After that filter's up, we're actually going to be putting in a MERV 16, which is a 6-month filter. But anyway, that's what today's video is going to be all about. We're going to go ahead and get this pre-assembled, not necessarily pre-assembled, but get everything ready, taped up, sealed up, insulated. That way when we go in the crawl space to install it, it's ready to go. All right, so what I've went ahead and done, I've gotten some squared arounds made to where they'll fit the opening of this filter frame perfectly, and then it gives us a 16-inch round because this particular system has a 16-inch return. So I went ahead and got 2 squared arounds made so they'll fit here properly. One thing to note, whenever you're installing these filters, you want to look at pressure drop. So for an example, this system that we're working on today has got 1,000 CFM for the entire system. So what I wanted to do, I looked on the manual for the MERV 16, because that's eventually what we're going to be putting in, and I wanted to make sure that I sized the filter properly to, that way I don't have a huge pressure drop. So for an example, this filter, the MERV 16 for 1,000 CFM, is going to give us a 0.17 pressure drop across the filter, which that's phenomenal for a 4-inch wide filter and MERV 16. So to put that in perspective, I think the MERV 13 version drops down to 0.12. So either way you go, you're getting phenomenal filtration at a very low pressure drop, so it doesn't tax the system too much on the airflow side. So anyhow, what I'm going to go ahead and do is get the flanges bent on the squared arounds. We're going to get all the seams taped up because part of indoor air quality, and the reason why we're putting in a good filter, is that we want it completely sealed, right? We're not pulling any air from the crawl space, so we want to make sure we seal off everything really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first, get all of these prepped, get them insulated, and then we can take them into the crawl space and get everything put together. All right, so the tape that I like to use on any metal-to-metal transitions is going to be the SureTape PC 857. So this is a UL rated duct tape, and it's perfect for this type of application. The main thing you want to do though is get a squeegee and make sure you apply it, but that's for any kind of tape. So one thing I really like about this tape is all weather tape. So it holds true whether if it's cold conditions or hot conditions. It's going to stay in contact with the metal, so it's not going to peel off really easy, and that's super important for any type of sealing the joints, right? You don't want the stuff to come off whenever it gets super cold or when it gets super hot. All right, again, so the main thing with any kind of tape that you apply, you want to grab a squeegee and really press down that tape. You can really see the difference between this and this. So that's what we want all of our tape to look like, a nice, clean, tight bond to where we know that it's going to be leak-free. All right, so if you can see here, whenever they put together this particular squared around, when they're doing the spot welds, they burned holes right through. So that's one of the main reasons why we want to make sure that we are taking the time to seal everything up as best as we possibly can. And what I like to do is make sure that I pull the tape nice and tight as I'm putting it on, and then squeegee it as well. All right, so now that I've got everything sealed up nice and good, I'm going to go ahead and get the bottom flange bent out because that's how we're going to attach it to the filter box, and then we'll get it insulated from there. There we go. All right, so now that is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and measure how long I need my insulation to wrap here. So I usually give myself more and then I trim it so that way it's perfect when I'm done. So basically about 15 inches on these long ends is what I need. So you always want to measure on your corners because that's going to be the longest dimension instead of doing the sides. So 15 inches, and the material is 4 foot wide, so I'm just going to cut 2 strips at 15, and that'll give us enough material to go all the way around. All right, so what I'm going to be using is this bubble wrap. This stuff is awesome, super easy to install, nice and quick and easy, and the best part about it, no fiberglass, which means your arms and everything doesn't get super itchy. And this is how easy that is to cut, and I'll just use this as a template for my other piece. And because I'm cutting it a little bit longer than I need to, and I'm going to be trimming it anyway, I don't have to be so precise on exactly 15 inches. So there you go. All right, so for the insulation, the tape that I like to use is going to be the Sure tape. This is the DC 181. Again, it's a UL rated tape, so we know it's going to be good for mold or any type of high or low temperatures, as well as code approval, right? Because they have to have that UL stamp on there. So what I like to do is go ahead and get this started with one piece. So one thing I like about both of these tapes in particular is that, for one, it's really simple. You've got 2 tapes for everything that you need, right? This can handle anything on the metal to metal side, and this can handle anything where you're attaching the flex to the metal or where you're insulating it. So it's very simple, and not only that, but you don't have to worry about using a knife or scissors to cut the tape. You can just use your fingers. So it's nice, quick, and easy. Obviously, the duct tape is the same way. So a little tech tip there is on this particular tape is fold over a little tab when you're done, because once you pick it back up to use it again, it's easy to grab it and reuse it. So I like to go to each corner because I want the insulation to stay put. If I wrap it around and go to the other side, it's going to raise up on me, and I don't want that to happen. So what I like to do is just take the tape, put it on that flange right there, like so, and that's going to keep it from lifting as I go around the squirt around. Got it insulated now all the way around. So now I need to work on my corners and getting everything nice and tight. So the way that I do that is I just start with one corner, take my scissors, and I'll just cut right down on the corner. So just like this, not all the way to where it cuts it, in half. So that way you can take it and you can lay it on top of one another, like so. Take your stapler and go to town. Just go to all 4 corners doing that. It doesn't really matter which way you lay it over. I just kind of go with however it looks good. And all right, so now that I've got all of that nice and tight, as you can see, now I can go ahead and trim and give me some room to be able to put my flex onto here. All right, there we go. So now we got plenty of room for our flex. So now I'm just going to go back and tape all the seams so that way everything is good and clean looking. All right, now that I've got all the seams taped up, you want to go ahead and hit every one with a squeegee. And you can really see how much it really just gets in there, and it's super tight against the material. Because what basically you're doing with the pressure, you're also applying heat as well. So that is going to activate that adhesive even more, and it's just going to do a much better job than if you didn't squeegee at all. All right, so now I've got everything taped up, it's looking good. I'm not going to worry about taping down here just yet, because once we install this on the actual filter box, we have to screw it down, and then when we seal that with tape, it'll catch this as well. So that'll be like an all-in-one deal for that. All right, so this is what we're dealing with here. We've got 16-inch flex here that we're going to be cutting and mounting the filter. So we got plenty of room right here. We've already cut the strap, so we've got some flexibility in this flex, so which is great. Which means I think what we're going to do is probably put it to where the filter is about right here. It may go at an angle just so the flex can go straight into it. So as long as this doesn't get in our way, we should be fine. All right, so there we go. We got the filter box, both squared arounds, secured and sealed, looking good. So now all we got to do is go ahead and figure out exactly where we want to put it. Go ahead and cut the flex and get the straps ready. I'm just going to use some cloth strap to get this thing up off the ground. But we might do that after it's all said and done. That way it's not moving around on us so much when we're trying to hook up the flex. So yeah, that's the next step. So what's really good about this this DC 181, it being 3 inches wide, really helps keep things in place. You don't have to go around as much. You don't have to use as much tape. So again, with it being 3 inches wide, I'll probably go around 2, maybe 3 times just to make sure it's got a good tight bond and it's not going to be coming off. So you can use the same exact tape for the liner and the outside insulation as well, just like we did earlier on this. So one tape does both jobs. All right, one down, one to go. All right, now it's time to get this thing strapped up. There we go. So that's how I install a 4-inch pleated filter in an existing system. In this particular situation, it was in a crawl space. So now all we have to do every 12 months or 6 months, depending on what filter we have in there, is just go into the crawl space. It's about 10 feet away, pop the door off, slide the filter out, slide the new one in, and they're good to go. This is a best way when it comes to air filtration, not using the 1-inch filters that are in the wall. Those are not good filters at all for the system or for filtration. So you really want to invest into a good 4-inch filter like we just installed today. But that's going to complete today's video. I really hope you guys got something out of it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, see you guys later.